Hi there, my name is Colin, and today I'm going to be bringing you day one of my GNAT Cyclekart build. The GNAT was a GN special that was built for hill climbing back in the 30s. It's based off a modified GN chassis, one of the more modern chassis for GN, where they used a formed sheet metal frame as opposed to their original chassis, which were wood-based. This particular car here is going to be front engined, which is quite rare in the world of cycle carts. I'm going to be transferring the drive via drive shaft back to a 2-to-1 differential, and then we'll chain drive back to the wheels. It's going to feature a drag link suspension or steering system, and in this case I'm using an aluminum seat, which is similar to what the NAT used. The body is going to be all aluminum formed. It's very simple, very lightweight. So should be a fun build. Apologize for the dog barking. It's my neighbor's dog. It loves to bark. I don't know how to get it to stop. So yeah, let's start putting the chassis together. Let's have fun. So here we are so far. The engine is basically in place. There's just one minor interference with the CVT mounting plate hitting the frame. One of the sort of mounting bosses on the plate, which isn't on the CAD model, but that's there in real life, is interfering with the frame member. So that'll be a quick and easy grind job. So let's take the engine out, and then I'll show you some of the other issues that we encountered. So here's the chassis with the engine removed, and bolting things together. I found a few interferences that I've got to go back and check the CAD models to make sure they're good. But if you look in closely here, the right side of the chassis, for some reason, is not lining up with the plate. The left side lines up perfect, but I gotta get that figured out. The differential, I reverse engineered everything properly, and the mounting holes are in the right spot. That's a big win. In the back, something's really off. I think when the tabs were welded on the side rails, they were welded in the wrong place. I don't know if you can see this, but the end plate sits up about 1/8 of an inch where it should be fitting flush. So I got to figure out what's going on there. But at least the rear tabs line up. The crossbar for the diff mount, everything looks good. The steering arm framework works out well. This situation is we're using a drag link steering setup. Normal 1-to-1 gearbox won't work. It's just too much torque. So in this case, we're using 3-to-1 gearbox. It's actually a precision gearbox designed for servos. It's made by a company called, back then it was made by a company called Alpha, now they're called Wittenstein. But I was able to find a 3-to-1 gearbox that was very compact. It's actually very hard to do. And really I could only find that in the servo gearboxes. So the mounting framework that I put together, everything looks good on that, so that's a big win. So overall, pretty pleased, a little concerned. Oh yeah, one more thing. So this suspension is using a quarter elliptical spring setup, and this, as best I can, replicates the original GNAT car. The chassis rails were dropped about 4 or 5 inches, actually a little bit more in reality, but that's a larger car. And then we're using 1/4-inch spring steel leaf springs, and I'm starting off with one spring, and then I can add another spring if I needed. And then also on GNAT, it uses U-bolts to hold the spring in place. So I've replicated that setup that you see here. And then you see all those little holes in the sheet metal work. Those will all get drilled out to a larger size as needed. One of the defining features of GNAT is that the frame rails are all drilled out with large diameter holes. So you're going to see on here how I've got a series of holes drilled out in the chassis. That's just alignment holes for me to play with hole saws. I didn't want to burn the holes out, primarily because I just wasn't sure what diameter I was going to go with. So they're probably going to be in the range of 1.5 to 1.25 inches. It's a little extra work, but no big deal. Maybe I'll get one of my sons to do it. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how things are right now. And maybe we'll put a little bit more together and show you. Who knows? We'll see you.